Here's a complete, detailed, and exam-oriented answer on the evolution of the consumer protection movement and the comparative study of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986 and 2019, covering all your subtopics systematically. Consumer protection, evolution, aims, and new dimension. Evolution of the consumer protection movement. Historical background. The consumer protection movement originated as a global social movement to safeguard consumers from exploitation and unfair trade practices by sellers and manufacturers. In earlier times, the principle of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, governed transaction. Consumers had little legal protection. Gradually, due to industrialization, mass production, and marketing malpractices, the need for consumer rights became urgent. 2. International developments. The United Nations Guidelines for Consumer Protection, 1985, gave worldwide recognition to consumer rights, urging countries to enact laws to protect them. These guidelines recognized 6 fundamental consumer rights: O right to safety, O right to information, O right to choose, O right to be heard, O right to seek redressal, O right to consumer education. Consumer movement in India. In India, consumer exploitation existed through adulteration, false weights, hoarding, black marketing, defective goods, etc. Various laws like the Sale of Goods Act, 1930, Indian Contract Act, 1872, Standards of Weights and Measures Act, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, and Essential Commodities Act dealt with consumer issues only partially. The Consumer Protection Act, 1986, CPA 1986, marked the beginning of a comprehensive consumer movement in India, establishing dedicated forums for quick and inexpensive redressal. 2. Aim and objectives of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. 1. Aim: to protect the interests of consumers and to establish authorities for timely and effective settlement of consumer disputes. It is a social welfare legislation intended to make consumers aware of their rights and provide remedies against unfair practices. 2. Objectives. 1. To provide better protection of consumer interests. 2. To ensure fair trade practices. 3. To promote consumer education and awareness. 4. To provide a simple, speedy, and inexpensive redressal mechanism through district, state, and national commissions. 5. To encourage active participation of consumers in protecting their own rights. 3. Objectives and reasons for enactment of the Consumer Protection Act, 2019. 1. Need for a new law. The 1986 Act, though effective, became outdated due to O rapid digitalization and e-commerce, O misleading advertisements, O complex consumer contracts, and O growing need for product liability. To address these issues, CPA 2019 was enacted, replacing CPA 1986. 2. Objectives of CPA 2019. 1. To strengthen consumer rights and remedies. 2. To include e-commerce and online transactions under its ambit. 3. To establish the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA, for monitoring and enforcing consumer rights. 4. To introduce product liability, unfair contracts, and mediation. 5. To make the consumer dispute redressal process more transparent, digital, and effective. IV. New dimensions of the CPA, 2019 as compared to CPA, 1986. 1. Updated definitions, Section 2. Term. CPA 1986. CPA 2019, updated. Consumer. Person who buys goods or hires services for consideration, excludes resale. Includes online and offline buyers, e-commerce transactions, and electronic means. Goods. Same as Sale of Goods Act. Same definition but applies to digital goods too. Service. Any service made available to potential users for consideration. Expanded to include online services, telecom, banking, etc. Defect. Any fault in quality, quantity, purity, or standard of goods. Same. Includes digital products. Deficiency. Fault in service performance or standard. Broader scope, covering e-commerce and digital services. Complaint. Complainant. Any written allegation by a consumer. Includes electronic complaints and registered consumer associations. Manufacturer. Maker or producer of goods. Includes assemblers and importers. Misleading advertisement not defined. Newly defined, SEC, 228. False or deceptive advertisement that misleads consumers. Term. CPA 1986. CPA 2019 updated. Restrictive trade practice defined but narrow. Expanded to include delay in delivery and tube sales. Unfair contract not defined. New concept. Contract causing significant disadvantage to consumer, e.g., excessive penalties, one-sided terms. Unfair trade practice, false representation and misleading information. Expanded to include false electronic ads, manipulation of digital reviews, and promotion of fake goods. 2. Three-tier consumer dispute redressal mechanism. Forum. Under CPA 1986. Under CPA 2019. District Commission up to 20 lakh rupees. Up to 50 lakh rupees. State Commission 20 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, 50 lakh rupees, 2 crore rupees. National Commission above 1 crore rupees, above 2 crore rupees. The pecuniary jurisdiction is now based on the consideration paid, not claim amount. E-filing and video conferencing introduced for hearings. 3. Establishment of Consumer Protection Councils. Purpose: to promote and protect the rights of consumers. Councils established at O central level, chaired by Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, O state level, and O district level. Their role is advisory, focusing on awareness, policy, and consumer welfare. 4. Establishment of Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA. New feature, Chapter 3. A regulatory authority with powers of investigation, enforcement, and penalty. Functions. 1. To protect consumer rights and prevent unfair trade practices. 2. To initiate class actions and recall defective products. 3. To impose penalties for misleading advertisements. 4. To order withdrawal of hazardous goods or services. 5. Inclusion of e-commerce transactions. CPA 2019 applies to online and digital transactions. E-commerce entities must O. disclose complete information about goods, services. O. avoid misleading ads and fake reviews. O. provide refund and grievance redressal mechanisms. 6. Recognition of 6 rights of consumers. CPA 2019 formally recognizes 6 rights. 1. Right to safety. 2. Right to be informed. 3. Right to choose. 4. Right to be heard. 5. Right to redressal. 6. Right to consumer awareness. 7. Introduction of Product Liability, Chapter 6. Newly introduced concept. A manufacturer, seller, or service provider is liable for harm caused by defective products or deficient services. Encourages accountability and quality assurance in the market. 8. Stringent penalties for misleading advertisements. First offense, penalty up to 10 lakh rupees. Subsequent offense, up to 50 lakh rupees and imprisonment up to 2 years. Celebrity endorsers can also be held liable for false endorsements. 9. Introduction of Mediation, Chapter 5. New Alternative Dispute Resolution, ADR, mechanism. Consumer commissions can refer disputes for mediation with consent of parties. If settlement fails, case returns to commission. Promotes speedy, amicable resolution and reduces burden on forums. 10. Remedies for unfair contracts. Consumers can now challenge unfair or one-sided contracts, e.g., excessive security deposits, unilateral termination, penalties. Commissions can nullify unfair clauses or order modification. 11. Expansion of unfair trade practices. Now includes O. misleading online promotions, O. fake reviews or ratings, O. manipulation of price during flash sales. O. non-issuance of bills, O. hoarding and misleading packaging. V. Comparison at a glance, CPA 1986 vs. CPA 2019. Aspect, CPA 1986. CPA 2019. Focus, traditional trade, digital, e-commerce era. Regulator, none. CCPA introduced. Aspect, CPA 1986. CPA 2019. Filing of complaint, physical, e-filing, video hearings. Jurisdiction based on claim amount based on consideration paid. Unfair contracts, not covered, specifically included. Product liability, absent, explicitly introduced. Mediation, not provided, introduced as ADR. Misleading advertisements, not strictly penalized, severe penalties plus liability for endorsers. Scope, Limited covers e-commerce and online transactions. V. Conclusion. The Consumer Protection Act, 2019 marks a new era in consumer law, expanding the scope of rights and remedies to meet modern challenges such as digital markets, product liability, and false advertisements. It moves from a reactive grievance redressal system, 1986, to a proactive consumer welfare mechanism, 2019, focusing on prevention, regulation, and digital empowerment. Balance scale key takeaways. CPA 1986, protective, welfare-oriented, established basic consumer rights. CPA 2019, progressive, technology-driven, includes new sectors and enforcement powers. Core principle. Empowered consumer equals strong nation. Would you like me to make this entire answer into a handwritten exam-style notes format, blue ink notebook page with headings and underlines, for study or submission? Here is a comprehensive and exam-ready summary of the landmark Indian case Indian Medical Association vs. V.P. Shanta, A. 1996 South Carolina 550, which is fundamental in medical law and consumer protection law, especially in defining medical services as services under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. Case name: Indian Medical Association vs. V.P. Shanta and others. Citation: A. 1996 South Carolina 550, 1995, 6, S.C. C. 651. Court: Supreme Court of India. Bench: Justice B.L. Hansaria, Justice S.B. Majmudar, and Justice R.M. Sahai. Facts: A group of doctors and hospitals challenged the applicability of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, CPA, to medical professionals. The respondent, V.P. Shanta, along with others, had filed complaints before consumer forums against doctors for medical negligence, claiming deficiency in service. The Indian Medical Association, IMA, contended that medical services do not fall within the meaning of service under Section 2(1)(o) of the CPA. The issue thus arose whether patients could file complaints of medical negligence under the Consumer Protection Act. Issues: 1. Whether medical services rendered by doctors and hospitals constitute service within the meaning of Section 2(1)(o) of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. 2. Whether patients who receive medical treatment free of cost are also consumers under the Act. 3. What are the categories of medical services that come within or outside the scope of the CPA? Arguments. Petitioner, Indian Medical Association. The medical profession is noble, not a commercial activity, hence it cannot be treated as a service under the CPA. The relationship between doctor and patient is based on trust, not on a commercial contract. Including medical services under CPA would lead to harassment of doctors and discourage medical practice. Respondent, V.P. Shanta. Patients pay fees for diagnosis and treatment, hence, they hire services for consideration, which clearly falls within the definition of service under the Act. The consumer forums provide an inexpensive and quick remedy to patients for negligence or deficiency in medical service. Held. The Supreme Court held that medical services are covered under service as defined in Section 2(1)(o) of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, except under certain limited situations. Judgment, ratio decidendi. The court clarified the following categories. 1. Services covered under the Act. O.A. Services rendered by medical practitioners, doctors, or hospitals for consideration, payment of fees. O.B. Services rendered to employer-sponsored patients or insured patients, since consideration is indirectly paid. 2. Services not covered under the Act. O.A. Services rendered free of charge to all patients, e.g., charitable hospitals. O.B. Services rendered under a personal relationship, e.g., a doctor treating a family member without charge. 3. Mixed services. O. Hospitals that provide free services to some and paid services to others will be covered by the Act for both categories of patients, since the paying patients subsidize the free services. Key observations by the court. The term service in the Consumer Protection Act is very broad and includes any service for consideration, unless specifically excluded. The medical profession cannot claim immunity from accountability and must maintain standards of care. Negligent treatment or deficiency in professional duty by doctors constitutes deficiency in service. Principles established. 1. Medical services are services under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, if rendered for consideration. 2. Doctors and hospitals are liable for deficiency in service before consumer forums. 3. Charitable hospitals providing completely free services are exempt. 4. Mixed hospitals, part free, part paid, are covered under the CPA. 5. The judgment empowers patients to seek legal remedy for medical negligence through consumer forums. Significance. This is a landmark decision bringing medical negligence within the scope of consumer law in India. It opened a simpler and less expensive route for patients to obtain redressal. Strengthened consumer rights and accountability in the healthcare sector. Along with Jacob Matthew v. State of Punjab, 2005, it forms the foundation of medical negligence jurisprudence in India. Conclusion. The Supreme Court held that medical practitioners and hospitals who render services for consideration, fees, are covered under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. Patients are consumers, and medical negligence amounts to deficiency in service. Key takeaway. Medical service equals service under CPA, if for payment. Doctors and hospitals are liable for deficiency in service before consumer forums, except when services are entirely free of charge. Would you like me to prepare this case in your handwritten exam-style blue ink format, like the previous tort law cases? It will look like an answer sheet with neat underlined headings. Here is a structured summary of the judgment. Medicos Legal Action Group v. Union of India, 2021 SCC Online BOM 3696, together with its significance for tort, medical service, consumer law. Case name and citation. Medicos Legal Action Group v. Union of India 2021 SCC Online BOM 3696, Bombay High Court, decided on the 25th of October 2021. Special leave petition to the Supreme Court dismissed the 29th of April 2022. Facts. The petitioner, a trust called the Medicos Legal Action Group, filed a public interest litigation, PIL, in the Bombay High Court, PIL number 58 of 2021, seeking a declaration that healthcare services rendered by doctors are not included within the purview of the Consumer Protection Act, 2019, CPA 2019. A mandamus directing Consumer Fora in Maharashtra not to accept complaints under CPA 2019 against healthcare service providers. The petitioner's case rested on the argument that in the parliamentary debates on the Consumer Protection Bill 2018, leading to CPA 2019, the minister had stated that healthcare had been deliberately excluded from the definition of service. The petitioner contended this showed legislative intent to exclude healthcare from CPA 2019. The petitioner argued that since CPA 2019 repealed the earlier Consumer Protection Act, 1986, CPA 1986, and the term healthcare was omitted from the definition of service in CPA 2019, healthcare services were excluded from the ambit. Issues. Whether the definition of service under CPA 2019 covers medical, healthcare services provided by doctors and hospitals in India. Whether the omission of the word healthcare from the definition in CPA 2019 implies an intention to exclude medical services from consumer law. Whether complaints against doctors, hospitals under consumer fora are maintainable under CPA 2019 for deficiency in service. Holding, decision. The Bombay High Court dismissed the petition, calling it a thoroughly misconceived public interest litigation, and held that there was no basis to exclude healthcare services from the definition of service, simply because the word healthcare was omitted from the definition in CPA 2019. The court held that the definition of service in CPA 2019, Section 242, is virtually identical to the definition in CPA 1986, Section 210, besides inclusion of telecom. The court reaffirmed the precedent of the Indian Medical Association versus VP Shanta, 1996 South Carolina 550, by the Supreme Court, which held that medical services by a doctor, hospital for consideration fall within the definition of service under CPA 1986. The court imposed costs of 50,000 rupees on the petitioning trust. The special leave petition filed by the petitioner in the Supreme Court was dismissed on the 29th of April 2022, thereby upholding the view that medical, healthcare services are covered under CPA 2019. Ratio, key legal principles. The mere omission of healthcare from the definition of service in CPA 2019 does not amount to legislative intent to exclude medical services from consumer protection. The legislative definition remains broad, service of any description, and interpreted earlier to include medical services. A statute is interpreted based on its language and precedent. Individual ministerial statements in parliamentary debate cannot override clear statutory wording. The doctrine of precedent. The earlier Supreme Court decision in IMAV Shanta, 1995, remains binding regarding medical services being service under consumer law, unless altered by statute explicitly. The court held that since CPA 2019 did not explicitly exclude healthcare, the precedent continues. Hospitals, doctors providing services for consideration, direct payment, insurance, employer paid, etc., fall within the ambit of service, and thus complaints under consumer law are maintainable. Free services rendered by charitable institutions to all patients may be outside the definition, depending on context, but where there is consideration or mixed payment, free coverage arises. Significance in tort, medical services, consumer law. The judgment reinforces the link between medical services and consumer protection law. For tort law students, this means that medical negligence or deficiency in service may be pursued not only in tort, civil liability, but also under consumer law forums for deficiency in service. It strengthens patients' remedies. Earlier uncertainty about applicability of CPA 2019 to doctors, hospitals has now been put to rest, at least for now, in this jurisdiction. It emphasizes that legal duties of care, in tort, and contractual service obligations, in consumer law, run in parallel with consumer forums as accessible remedies. From a doctrinal point of view, this case illustrates the interaction between statute, common law tort principles, duty, breach, damage, and consumer law, service, deficiency, showing cross-disciplinary relevance. It also reminds us that the evolution of tort liability in areas like medical services must consider multiple frameworks: tort law, negligence, contract law, service agreements, consumer protection law, professional regulation. Application and practical implications. Patients, consumers, they can file complaints against hospitals, medical practitioners under consumer fora if charged for services and suffer deficiency, even with CPA 2019 in force. Doctors, hospitals, must be aware of liability not just in tort but in consumer law. Risk of consumer complaints for services provided for fee. Mixed payment models, some free, some paid, also bring in consumer fora because the paid services subsidize free ones, hence the service is covered. From precedent, legal professionals, when advising on medical negligence claims, consider both tort liability, civil suit for damages, and consumer forum route for deficiency in service, sometimes more accessible, faster. In drafting and interpreting statutes, the clarity of exclusion or inclusion matters. Omission of a term, such as healthcare, does not always imply exclusion. Courts will look at the broader language. Conclusion. The Bombay High Court in Medico's Legal Action Group v. Union of India held that medical, healthcare services fall within the ambit of the Consumer Protection Act 2019 as services, and that doctor, hospital complaints can be entertained by consumer fora. The decision dismissing the PIL reinforces the binding precedent from IMAV Shanta on medical services under consumer law. The implications are significant for intersection of tort law, medical negligence and consumer protection. If you like, I can prepare a handwritten exam-style summary sheet for this case, with headings. Here is a structured and detailed summary of Bar of Indian Lawyers vs. D.K. Gandhi in ANR. Civil Appeal Number 2646 of 2009, decided the 14th of May 2024, which is relevant to tort, consumer service liability, especially the legal profession, and thus useful for your tort studies. Case name and citation. Bar of Indian Lawyers through its President Jasbir Singh Malik vs. D.K. Gandhi PS National Institute of Communicable Diseases in ANR. Civil Appeals Numbers 2646, 2649 of 2009, along with connected appeals, 6959 2011s, 8214 2017s, before the Supreme Court of India. Judgment date, the 14th of May 2024. Facts. The dispute originates from a complaint by Mr. D.K. Gandhi, respondent, who engaged an advocate, appellant, to file a complaint under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act, 1881 on his behalf. The lawyer allegedly withheld, Sendalay instrumental payments. The accused agreed to pay 20,000 rupees plus 5,000 rupees to respondent. The respondent alleged the lawyer did not immediately hand over the money, demanded additional fee etc. A consumer complaint was filed alleging deficiency in service against the advocate before the District Consumer Forum. That forum accepted jurisdiction. The State Commission held the services of advocates did not fall under the Consumer Protection Act. The National Commission, NCDRC, reversed that, holding that advocate services are covered. These appeals to the Supreme Court raised the question whether legal services of advocates are services under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, and now Consumer Protection Act, 2019, and thus Consumer Forum jurisdiction. Issues 1. Whether the services rendered by advocates, lawyers fall within the definition of service under Section 2(1)(o) of the CPA 1986 or Section 2(42) CPA 2019. 2. Whether a complaint alleging deficiency in service against a practicing advocate is maintainable under the Consumer Protection Law. 3. Whether the legislative intent and nature of legal profession and contract of service make services of advocates sui generis, unique, and hence excluded from consumer law. 4. The broader question, whether professions regulated by special legislation, e.g., Advocates Act, 1961, are within the consumer service regime. Held, judgment. The Supreme Court held that services of advocates are not covered under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986-2019, when it comes to complaints of deficiency in service before consumer forums. The court held that the profession of lawyer is sui generis, unique, and cannot be equated with ordinary business service provider. It found that the contract between an advocate and client is one of personal service, rather than a contract for service, in the sense of the CPA. The court overturned the NCDRC's position, in D.K. Gandhi, M. Matthias, that lawyers are covered by CPA. It referred the more general question of whether medical professionals should still be covered under the CPA, i.e., the earlier decision in Indian Medical Association vs. V.P. Shanta, to a larger bench. Ratio, legal principles. Key legal holdings include the legal profession deemed not to be a service under the CPA definition when it is a contract of personal service, given the unique obligations of an advocate, duty to court, professional code, fiduciary duties. Consumer protection law is primarily aimed at trade, business, service providers in the marketplace. Regulated professions with special statutory regulation may fall outside its ambit. The distinction between contract for service, typical service providers, and contract of personal service, advocates, others, is important in deciding coverage under CPA. Even though earlier precedent, IMA v. Shanta, recognized doctors, hospitals as services under CPA, the court in this case held that advocates are different, and indicated that the earlier ratio for medical services might need reconsideration. Just because a statute is broad, definition of service does not automatically cover all professionals. Context, legislative intent, regulation of profession matter. Significance. This decision is very important for torts, consumer law because it clarifies that advocate-client relationship is outside the consumer forum mechanism for deficiency in service under CPA. So, for legal services, clients cannot go to consumer forums. The redress is via professional regulation under the Advocates Act, civil remedies, disciplinary forums, etc. It influences how we view professional negligence and liability. It separates service providers like hospitals, doctors, where coverage was found, from advocates, where excluded. For tort law, though professional negligence might still lie in civil tort, negligence, breach of duty, and contract, the route of consumer forum is blocked for advocates. It raises potential future debate, whether other professions are covered, and whether the IMAV Shanta Medical Services decision should be revisited, as hinted by the court. It emphasizes the importance of characterizing the professional relationship and understanding the nuance between personal service vs. service for consideration in consumer law context. Practical implications. For clients, if you engage an advocate and are dissatisfied with legal services, you cannot raise a complaint under the CPA for deficiency in service, as per this decision. You must use other avenues: professional negligence suit, complaint before bar council, etc. For advocates, this decision provides assurance that they will not face consumer forum suits under CPA for their professional services, though other liabilities remain. For other professionals, the decision invites analysis whether other professions, e.g., accountants, architects, are within or outside the CPA. The notion of personal service contract and sui generis profession will be relevant. In tort teaching, helps illustrate the intersection of torts, professional negligence, and consumer law, and the limitation, exception when the provider is a regulated professional of certain nature. Conclusion. In Bar of Indian Lawyers vs. D.K. Gandhi, the Supreme Court held that advocating services are excluded from the Consumer Protection Act's ambit because of the unique nature of the legal profession, characterizing the contract as one of personal service. The judgment provides clarity in the context of consumer protection in professional services, and importantly marks that lawyers cannot be sued in consumer forums for deficiency in service. The court also referred the broader question of medical services to a larger bench. If you like, I can prepare a handwritten exam-style summary sheet for this case, blue ink, underlined headings, bullet points, similar to your previous ones. Do you want that? Here is a clear and exam-focused summary of the landmark consumer law case, Lakshmi Engineering Works vs. PSG Industrial Institute, 19953, SC, 583, decided by the Supreme Court of India, which clarified the meaning of consumer under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. Case name: Lakshmi Engineering Works vs. PSG Industrial Institute. Citation: 19953, SC, 583, AIR 1995, South Carolina 1428. Court: Supreme Court of India. Bench: Justice B.P. Jeevan Reddy. Facts: the appellant, Lakshmi Engineering Works, purchased a lathe machine from the respondent, PSG Industrial Institute, for its factory. The machine was found to be defective, and the buyer filed a complaint under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, alleging deficiency in service and defective goods. The respondent manufacturer argued that the complainant was not a consumer within the meaning of Section 2(1)(d) of the Act because the machine was purchased for commercial purposes. Issues: 1. Whether the buyer, Lakshmi Engineering Works, is a consumer under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. 2. What is the meaning of the term commercial purpose under Section 2(1)(d). 3. Whether a person using goods for earning livelihood by self-employment can still be a consumer. Arguments: Appellant, Lakshmi Engineering Works. The machine was purchased to run a small manufacturing unit, and the owner himself operated it. It was not for larger-scale commercial profit but for earning a livelihood by self-employment. Therefore, he should be treated as a consumer. Respondent, PSG Industrial Institute. The machine was purchased for manufacturing activity, which is a commercial purpose. The buyer used it to produce goods for sale and profit, hence not a consumer under the Act. Held. The Supreme Court partly allowed the appeal and clarified the meaning of commercial purpose in the context of the Consumer Protection Act. The court held that if goods are purchased for use in larger-scale profit-oriented activities, the buyer is not a consumer. But if the goods are purchased for earning livelihood by means of self-employment, the buyer remains a consumer. Judgment, Ratio Decidendi. The court interpreted the explanation to Section 2(1)(d), added by the 1993 amendment. Commercial purpose does not include use by a person of goods bought and used by him exclusively for the purpose of earning his livelihood by means of self-employment. Justice Jeevan Reddy elaborated that, a commercial purpose implies use of goods on a large scale for making profits. If the buyer personally uses the goods or employs limited help to earn a livelihood, it is not a commercial purpose. Therefore, small entrepreneurs or self-employed persons using goods themselves, e.g., tailor using a sewing machine, photographer using a camera, mechanic using tools, right-pointing arrow consumers. Companies or factories using machines for larger-scale production and profit, right-pointing arrow not consumers. Principles laid down. 1. The term consumer excludes persons who obtain goods for commercial purposes. 2. But it includes those who use goods for earning livelihood by self-employment. 3. The test is the purpose of purchase and the scale of use, not merely whether payment was made. 4. The Consumer Protection Act is a benevolent legislation aimed at protecting individual consumers, not commercial enterprises. Significance. This case is the leading authority on the interpretation of consumer under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, and remains relevant under CPA, 2019. It protects small self-employed persons who buy goods to earn a living. It excludes business entities engaged in commercial or profit-making activities. The case has been cited in numerous later decisions to decide whether a complainant qualifies as a consumer. Conclusion. The Supreme Court held that Lakshmi Engineering Works was not a consumer because the machine was used for commercial production, not self-employment. However, the court clarified that self-employed individuals using goods to earn livelihood fall within the definition of consumer under the Act. Balance scale. Key takeaway. Under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, consumer includes self-employed individuals using goods for livelihood. Consumer excludes those who buy goods for commercial profit or larger scale business. Would you like me to prepare this case in your handwritten exam? Here's a complete, well-structured and exam-ready summary of the landmark Supreme Court judgment Lucknow Development Authority vs. M.K. Gupta, 19941 S.C. C. 243, one of the most cited cases in consumer protection law and tort law in India. Case name: Lucknow Development Authority vs. M.K. Gupta. Citation: 19941 S.C. C. 243, AIR 1994, South Carolina 787. Court: Supreme Court of India. Bench: Justice A.M. Amadi and Justice B.L. Hansaria. Facts: the respondent, M.K. Gupta, booked a flat with the Lucknow Development Authority, LDA, a government housing and development body. He paid the full amount, but the possession of the flat was delayed, and when delivered, it was defective in construction and amenities. The respondent filed a complaint before the District Consumer Forum under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, alleging deficiency in service by the LDA. The LDA contended that it performed sovereign and statutory functions and thus was not a service provider under the Act. Issues: 1. Whether housing and development authorities such as LDA render a service under Section 2(1)(o) of the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. 2. Whether defective or delayed construction of houses by such authorities amounts to deficiency in service. 3. Can compensation and damages be awarded for harassment and mental agony caused by such authorities? Arguments: Respondent, M.K. Gupta. He had paid consideration for the flat, and the LDA had failed to deliver proper service. The delay and defects amounted to negligence and deficiency. The LDA's acts are not sovereign. It charges money for services, so it is liable under the CPA. Appellant, Lucknow Development Authority. It is a statutory authority, performing public duties in the nature of sovereign functions, hence immune from consumer jurisdiction. The purchase of a flat is not a consumer transaction, and construction delays cannot be treated as a deficiency in service. Held. The Supreme Court dismissed the appeal and held the Lucknow Development Authority liable for deficiency in service. The court declared that housing construction and allotment by such authorities constitute service under the Consumer Protection Act. Judgment, Ratio Decidendi. Justice A. M. Amadi observed, when a statutory authority engages in an activity that can be undertaken by a private person and charges consideration for it, its acts are not sovereign and it is liable for deficiency in service. The definition of service in Section 2(1)(o) of the CPA 1986 was interpreted broadly to include housing construction. Housing boards, development authorities, and cooperative societies performing housing construction for consideration are amenable to the jurisdiction of consumer for a delay, defective construction, or failure to deliver possession on time amounts to deficiency in service. Principles established. 1. Housing construction equals service. Housing construction or allotment for consideration is a service under CPA 1986. 2. Statutory authorities liable. Statutory and local bodies, like development authorities, housing boards, municipal corporations, are not immune from consumer law if they act commercially. 3. Deficiency in service includes or delay in delivery of possession or poor quality of construction or failure to provide promised amenities. 4. Compensation for mental agony. Compensation can be granted not only for monetary loss but also for mental agony and harassment caused by public authorities. 5. Accountability of public servants. When harassment or deficiency is due to malice or arbitrary conduct, the officer concerned may be personally liable. Significance. This is a landmark judgment that expanded the scope of the Consumer Protection Act to cover public and statutory bodies performing commercial activities. It ensures that government authorities are accountable for negligence, harassment, and unfair trade practices. It introduced the idea of administrative accountability within the framework of consumer law and tort principles. The case is also relevant in constitutional tort law and public accountability jurisprudence. Conclusion. The Supreme Court held that housing development by public authorities is a service, and defective or delayed allotment amounts to deficiency in service. Compensation for mental agony and harassment can be awarded. Thus, public authorities are liable under the Consumer Protection Act just like private builders. Balance scale. Key takeaway. Public authorities performing commercial functions are not immune from consumer liability. Housing services equals service under CPA 1986. Delay or defect equals deficiency in service. Compensation equals includes mental agony and harassment. Would you like me to create? Here's a detailed summary of National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission's decision in M.S. Pyaridevi Chabiraj Steels, P. Limited v. National Insurance Company Limited, and Oz. CC number 833 of 2020, the 28th of August 2020, together with the key legal principles. Case name and citation. M.S. Pyaridevi Chabiraj Steels Private Limited v. National Insurance Company Limited, and 3. Oz. Consumer case number 833 of 2020, NCDRC, order dated the 28th of August 2020. Often cited as Pyaridevi Chabiraj Steels v. National Insurance Company Limited. Facts. The complainant, Pyaridevi Chabiraj Steels, took a standard fire and special perils insurance policy from National Insurance Company Limited covering its factory premises in Howrah region, with sum insured till the 28 crore rupees. The complainant alleged that due to heavy rainfall, storm and river flood water logging in Howrah region there was extensive damage to its factory building, plant and machinery, stocks, etc. The insurance company repudiated the claim, letter dated the 29th of November 2018, and the complainant sought to file a consumer complaint for deficiency in service, wrongful repudiation, under the relevant Consumer Protection Act. The complaint was filed on the 31st of July 2020, registered on the 5th of August 2020, and hence fell under the Consumer Protection Act, 2019, the new Act, rather than the old 1986 Act. Legal issue. The preliminary question, does the National Commission have pecuniary jurisdiction under the 2019 Act to entertain this complaint, given the threshold for value of goods or services paid, as consideration, is 10 crore rupees for the National Commission under Section 58(1)(a)(I) of the 2019 Act. In other words, should we compute jurisdiction on the value of consideration paid by the complainant, premium paid, or on the amount claimed, which was very large, till the 28 crore rupees? The distinction matters. Held decision. The NCDRC held that only the value of the goods or services paid as consideration, i.e., the premium paid for insurance, is to be taken into account for determining pecuniary jurisdiction under the 2019 Act. In this case, the premium paid was 320,525 rupees plus 123,037 rupees equals total till the 443,562 rupees. Since this amount is well below the 10 crore rupees threshold for National Commission's jurisdiction under Section 58(1)(a)(I) of the 2019 Act, the National Commission did not have jurisdiction to entertain the complaint. Accordingly, the complaint was dismissed as not maintainable. Ratio, key legal principles. Under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986, jurisdiction was determined by looking at the value of goods or services and the compensation claimed, see earlier precedent. Under the 2019 Act, the legislature changed the test. Only the value of goods or services paid as consideration matters for pecuniary jurisdiction, sections 34(1), 47(1)(a)(I), and 58(1)(a)(I). The NCDRC interprets this to mean that compensation claimed or the magnitude of the claim does not expand the forum's jurisdiction if the consideration paid is below the threshold. Any complaint filed in the National Commission must satisfy that the consideration paid exceeds the specified limit, 10 crore rupees in this case. The decision emphasizes clear statutory reading of these jurisdictional provisions and rejects the argument that large compensation claims alone should confer jurisdiction irrespective of consideration paid. Significance. This case is a key jurisdiction threshold precedent under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. It clarifies how to compute pecuniary jurisdiction, especially in insurance-type complaints, premium paid versus claim amount. It reinforces that even if the value of the claim is very high, if the premium consideration is low, the consumer cannot automatically approach the National Commission. They may be restricted to state or district commission. It may impact access to the forum for large losses but low consideration contracts, e.g., insurance policies. Critics argue this creates difficulty for consumers claiming large compensation. For tort consumer law students, it illustrates the interplay between statutory amendments, forum jurisdiction, and how that affects remedy availability. Commentary, practical implications. Consumers, if you have a complaint under the 2019 Act, check the consideration paid. That determines whether you can go to the National Commission or you must go to state, district level. Practitioners, when advising on filing complaints, especially for insurance or service contracts with large claim amounts but small premium, you must assess forum jurisdiction carefully. Policy critique. Some argue that limiting jurisdiction based on premium paid may undermine access to justice for high-value claims with small consideration. The case's commentary, e.g., Illy Law Review, mentions this concern. If you like, here's a complete and exam-focused summary of the landmark case J.J. Merchant vs. Srinath Chaturvedi, A. 2002 South Carolina 2931, which is one of the most important judgments on medical negligence, consumer protection, and the powers of consumer forums in India. Case name, J.J. Merchant and others. Srinath Chaturvedi citation, A. 2002 SC 2931, 2002, 6, SC, C, 635. Court, Supreme Court of India. Bench, Justice M.B. Shah, Justice D.M. Dharmadhikari, and Justice H.K. Sema. Facts. The respondent, Srinath Chaturvedi, filed a complaint before the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, NCDRC, alleging medical negligence by Dr. J.J. Merchant and other doctors of a hospital. The complaint claimed damages worth 20 lakh rupees, alleging that improper treatment caused serious injury and loss. The doctors, petitioners, challenged the maintainability of the complaint and argued that the Consumer Protection Act 1986 does not provide adequate opportunity for cross-examination and evidence as in civil courts. 2. Complex medical negligence cases should be dealt with by civil courts, not consumer forums. They also contended that the time limit of 90 days for disposal under Section 13(3)(a) of the Act was too short to decide technical matters like medical negligence. Issues 1. Whether consumer forums constituted under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986 have jurisdiction to adjudicate complex medical negligence cases. 2. Whether the summary procedure under the Act violates principles of natural justice in such cases. 3. Whether the time limit of 90 days for disposal is mandatory or merely directory. Arguments. Appellants, Dr. J. Merchant and others. Medical negligence cases require detailed evidence, expert testimony, and cross-examination, not suitable for summary proceedings. Consumer forums lack infrastructure to handle complicated factual questions. Therefore, such cases should be left to civil courts. Respondent, Srinath Chaturvedi. The Consumer Protection Act is a beneficial legislation meant to provide speedy and inexpensive justice. Medical services are already covered under the Act as held in Indian Medical Association vs. V.P. Shanta, 1995, South Carolina 550. The doctors are not denied fair hearing, since consumer forums have powers to summon experts and evidence under Sections 13, 4, and 18 of the Act. Held. The Supreme Court dismissed the doctors' appeal, holding that consumer forums do have jurisdiction to decide cases of medical negligence. The summary procedure under the Act does not violate natural justice, as adequate powers exist to take expert opinion and evidence. The 90-day time limit for disposal is directory, not mandatory, but forums must strive to adhere to it to ensure speedy justice. Judgment, Ratio Decidendi. 1. Jurisdiction of consumer forums. Consumer forums can decide complex cases, including those involving medical negligence, because they are special quasi-judicial bodies empowered to summon documents, evidence, and expert testimony. 2. Medical negligence under CPA. The principle laid down in IMAV. V.P. Shanta, 1995, that medical services constitute services under the Consumer Protection Act, stands reaffirmed. 3. Time limit under Section 13(3)(a). The period of 90 days, and 150 days if testing of goods, services is required, is directory, not mandatory. However, the object of the Act, speedy disposal, must be respected. 4. Summary procedure is sufficient. Consumer forums can adapt procedures to the complexity of the case. They are not strictly bound by Civil Procedure Code but still ensure fair hearing and natural justice. Principles established. 1. Medical negligence complaints are maintainable before consumer forums. 2. Consumer forums have the power to decide complex cases. They are not limited to simple contractual or service disputes. 3. The 90-day disposal rule is directory but encourages speedy resolution. 4. The Consumer Protection Act, 1986 provides an additional remedy, not an exclusive one. Consumers can still approach civil courts if they wish. 5. The object of the Act is to provide simple, speedy, and inexpensive redressal to consumers, including patients. Significance. This is a landmark judgment that reinforced the authority of consumer forums to handle medical negligence cases. It strengthened the consumer's right to seek redressal against doctors and hospitals for deficiency in service. It clarified the procedural flexibility of consumer forums and the balance between speed and fairness. The judgment also reaffirmed the earlier ruling in IMAV. V.P. Shanta, 1995, and has since been cited in numerous cases like Jacob Matthew v. State of Punjab, 2005. Conclusion. The Supreme Court held that consumer forums have jurisdiction to entertain medical negligence complaints, and such cases need not be referred to civil courts. The summary procedure under the Act is adequate to ensure justice, provided fairness and expert opinion are observed. Balance scale key takeaway. Medical negligence equals deficiency in service under the CPA 1986. Consumer forums equals competent authorities to decide even complex cases. 90-day limit equals directory, but expeditious justice is the goal. Patients equals consumers, and doctors, hospitals equals service providers. Would you like me to prepare this Here is a clear, complete, and examinatory summary of the important Supreme Court judgment Nina Aneja v. Jayaprakash Associates Limited, 2022-2 SC 161, which is crucial for Consumer Protection Act, 2019, especially on pecuniary jurisdiction and transition from CPA 1986 to CPA 2019. Nina Aneja. Jayaprakash Associates Limited. Citation 2022-2 SC 161. Court. Supreme Court of India. Bench. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice A.S. Bopanna. Facts. The complainant, Nina Aneja, booked a residential flat with Jayaprakash Associates Limited builder. Due to delay in handing over possession, she filed a consumer complaint seeking refund and compensation. The complaint was filed before the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, NCDRC, under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. While the complaint was pending, the Consumer Protection Act, 2019 came into force, the 20th of July 2020. Under the 2019 Act, pecuniary jurisdiction is determined by consideration paid, not by the value of the claim. The builder argued that the complaint should be returned for lack of pecuniary jurisdiction under the new Act. Issues. 1. Whether pending consumer complaints filed under the CPA 1986 must satisfy the pecuniary jurisdiction provisions of CPA 2019. 2. Whether the change in pecuniary jurisdiction under the CPA 2019 applies retrospectively to pending cases. 3. Whether consumer complaints already instituted should be transferred or dismissed due to change in law. Held. The Supreme Court held that consumer complaints instituted under the CPA 1986 will continue to be governed by that Act, even after the CPA 2019 came into force. The change in pecuniary jurisdiction under the CPA 2019 is prospective, not retrospective. Pending complaints cannot be returned, dismissed, or transferred merely because they do not meet the new jurisdictional thresholds. Ratio decidendi, key legal principles. Checkmark 1. Vested right to forum. Filing of a consumer complaint creates a vested substantive right in the complainant to have the case decided by the forum competent on the date of filing. This right cannot be taken away unless the statute expressly provides for retrospective operation. A vested right of action includes a vested right of forum. Checkmark 2. CPA 2019 has no retrospective effect. The CPA 2019 does not contain any provision indicating that pending proceedings under the CPA 1986 would be affected. Therefore, Section 107, Repeal and Savings Clause, protects pending cases. Checkmark 3. Pecuniary jurisdiction change is procedural but affects substantive rights. Although jurisdiction may appear procedural, it directly impacts access to justice and therefore cannot be applied retrospectively unless clearly stated. Checkmark 4. Consumer-friendly interpretation. The Consumer Protection Act is a beneficial legislation. Courts must adopt an interpretation that does not cause hardship to consumers by forcing them to restart litigation. Significance of the judgment. 1. Clarity on transition law. Resolves confusion arising after CPA 2019 about pending cases under CPA 1986. 2. Protection of consumers. Prevents harassment and delay by builders and service providers using jurisdictional objections. 3. Consistency with access to justice. Reinforces that procedural changes cannot defeat substantive consumer rights. 4. Frequently cited case. Often cited along with O. Lakshmi Engineering Works v. PSG Industrial Institute O. Lucknow Development Authority vs. M.K. Gupta O. Pyaridevi Chabiraj Steels v. National Insurance Company. Conclusion. The Supreme Court held that consumer complaints filed under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986 will continue before the same forum, notwithstanding the enforcement of the Consumer Protection Act, 2019. The change in pecuniary jurisdiction under the CPA 2019 is prospective, and pending cases are protected. Balance scale key takeaway, exam line. Change in pecuniary jurisdiction under CPA 2019 does not affect pending complaints under CPA 1986. Vested right to forum is preserved. If you want, I can also prepare this case in a handwritten exam-style blue ink format or make a comparison chart of CPA 1000.